Alrighty. Two birds. Climate change. Conversation. Altrag. Wonder if there's a CO2 magnet we could create, which we then could simply vent off planet into the vastness of space. I know, completely immoral logic for the environmentalist, creating a whole nother subset of problems, the least of which is how those offsets might run into something or someone else. Maybe just chuck them in the direction of the sun, prolonging its own lifespan as well. Two birds again, but yes, quite costly. It's a solution, though, if we can figure out how to capture it effectively. The triple M's a new thing, unrelated to fission, fusion, or radioactive materials. Gotta think like a Pollock or Douglas Adams to get there. Think in terms of supernovae or singularities. Supernovae and singularities and their containment in a finite space. It's simply feeding on itself for eons, continually eating itself to death, to simply rejuvenate over and over, we benefiting from its byproducts of heat and the production of precious metals. Food replicator simply uses lasers to weave atoms and molecules together in predetermined combinations, mimicking nature, a couple generations away from 3D printers. Toss the empty dishes and refuse in the back of the coffee maker. Add a little soil and water. An atomizer separates everything into its elements, replenishing stores, ready for whatever wants to be created next. Keep your silverware. Early prototype operates by crank, actually. Human power helping to break matter down into its component parts, as with a pestle and mortar. Flying cars a new design too, making Earth's gravity work against itself. Again, Pollock methodology that ignores the constraints of physics, or rather, uses it against itself. Its sheaths and planes meshed against each other, creating an imbalance of upward force. Only real danger being flying off into space if it gets stuck, actually. And internal pinwheels oscillating against vertical plates for acceleration and braking, each spinning opposite themselves depending upon proximity. It's fascinating stuff, all self-powered, but I don't think I've actually figured how to use gravity against herself yet. But you're right, altrag. These things are meaningless and a waste of time if we're unable to shut down our emissions or collect them in time. And it's going to take more than an individual to do either, as in both exists a lifetime's amount of work in development and implementation. And I've only a few decades left at best, even less if you consider that anything can take us at any time. Just the excitement of living, I guess, never knowing how much time we have to enjoy the lives we've been given. So just flying by the seat of our pants. I enjoy your analysis, but I'm getting the impression that, like many, you've accepted that it's much too late to do anything practical or wise. I've yet to give up, and I don't think you have either. I think we've either got to make physics work for us or change how it produces its outcomes. We'll talk space travel another time. I'm having too much fun with solutions I've been playing around with, and no, I'm not trolling. But neither am I desperate nor fully committed to fatalism, the possibilities being so diverse. Wouldn't mind a chat about how we actually turn governments and businesses around, however. Seems they'd already be incentivized to pursuing the solutions given both the evidence for their need and the enormous profits to be had, let alone the morality and mortality factors. But convincing them to focus on it to the exclusion of all their other distractions and aggressions seems a task left for a Superman, or a Wonder Woman, or a Mother Teresa. Hence the private sector. No, not trolling altrag. Not worried much either. As stated, I'm a misanthrope who couldn't care less, who just finds the subjects interesting and knows the answers are out there. Something that might clue you in about my seeming ignorance and attitude. Failed physics twice before finally passing with a C+ for my degree, which wildly went all over the place after my program in landscape architecture was discontinued. Drafting, botany, horticulture, etc., basic ag prep, dropping me into music ed, then art ed, before landing in sociology and counseling that got completed 16 years later. So I play, I write, I design, I learn. One day I hope to build, as I was meant to do. Build something useful to someone other than just myself while publishing my novels and non-fictions, bringing up other authors in the endeavor. Yet with so little time left, it seems a good idea to just air them out from time to time. Instead of analysis, why don't we speak of turning priorities on a massive scale? Here's a good example. Alrighty then.